Hey there, my name's Danny Leibrandt, and I'm the founder of Pest Control SEO, where we grow pest control companies with SEO. Today, I'm with Jonas Olson. Jonas is one of the top guys in the space. He actually runs the Pest Control Millionaire Podcast, which if you're at all familiar with the pest control space, you know about Pest Control Millionaire. I've seen tons of the episodes, and I was actually just on an episode a few days ago, so maybe that might come out in the next few weeks. So that's pretty exciting. Jonas is also the founder of Pest Badger, formerly known as Turf Badger, very successful pest control company. And also something to note there, which I really want to dive into in this episode, is how much they've grown their socials. I've really never seen anything like this. It's really fantastic. You guys officially have the number 4 YouTube channel in pest control, which is just insane. I think you said about like 120,000 subscribers. And also killing it on TikTok. I've seen, I think one of your TikToks has like 10 million views, another has like 8 million, another has 7 million. So you guys are knocking it out of the park. So I specifically want to dive into that because I feel like that's like a super unique code that almost no one has cracked in the pest control space. Like pest control is kind of uninteresting. It's not really sexy, but the fact that you guys have been able to get a ton of awareness from a social media following is incredibly impressive. So yeah, so glad to have you on and learn from you, Jonas.
Cool. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Daniel. I'm excited.
For sure, man.
Usually me on the other end, usually like turn around. I'm usually the one that get the interview, but now I'm the interview.
Yeah, no. Same with me. Same with me because I'm usually just running my podcast. So yeah, it's good to switch it up. So yeah, tell me how you got into pest control and marketing and all this stuff. Tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, so I think like most people, it wasn't a dream of mine to own a pest control company, but I did have a dream to own a lawn care company. By the time that I was 10, 12 years old, you asked me what I wanted to do. I wanted to own a lawn care company in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And so it's just what I like to do. I like to cut grass. Back in the day, I'd make my dad, pay me to cut his grass. And then on the weekends, I was just cutting my neighbor's grass, my grandma's grass. And so when I turned, I was like 17 or 18, I tried to start a business then. I just didn't have the capital or any money or at all, so it never really went anywhere. One of my buddies was like, oh, we should do it. We never did it. Went after college for a little bit, and then I got into the Carpenters Union. Then I saved up a little bit of money, and I decided that I was going to start this thing. I was working Monday through Thursday, so I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday to go cut grass. So saved enough money, bought my first lawnmower, and started cutting grass on Thursday afternoon, Friday, and then turned into Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then I had my oldest daughter on March 16, 2010. Once I had her and I was running both jobs for a while, it's like I just didn't want to be gone. Like I was working out of town, 4, 5, 6 hours away. And I didn't like that lifestyle. They were all just drinking at the bar. They're all divorced. Good trade, but I just didn't like the lifestyle. And I didn't want to be that guy. So I decided that I was just going to quit my job one day. So I put in my 2 weeks and I was like, I'm just going to go all in on this lawn care thing. At the same time, one of my buddies was actually just selling his company and just getting out. So he was like, hey, why don't you come look at this job with me? Come check it out, see if you want it. And I was like, okay. So I went there. It was my first commercial job. I got that commercial job, and then I got both the owners' houses. Well, I still tell that story because today they're still my customers. Even though I sold the business and changed it, so it's pretty cool. So I did that for like 10 years, and I built that up doing, we were like at 2.9 million at the time. And then COVID hit. And we were doing it like, again, it transformed from like mowing, did a little bit of landscaping, then snow removal, and then it did fertilization, weed control, and then we started doing a little bit of pest control. I ended up, COVID hit, and it was obviously 2020. Again, it's funny, but COVID is like one of those weird times in Michigan. It was strange here. We literally couldn't do anything. They didn't even want us getting gas. We couldn't go out on the lake by ourselves in a boat. It was just strange. I didn't stop, but like the whole town stopped. We couldn't go to work. We were deemed inessential. But pest control you could actually do. At the time, I bet you in this location we had 150 pest control accounts. But it was set up at that time for like biannual. So we're doing like one in the spring, one in the fall. And it's like March, so there's still snow on the ground. So it's just a weird time. Well, I didn't know what to do. We didn't know that PPP and all this stuff was coming. We didn't know anything. We were just like, oh. We had a long winter. We had contracts for snow plowing that could get us through the winter. But we weren't really making any money because it didn't snow any extra. So we were just going off of our contracts. Spring, supposed to go back to work in March, April. And then all of a sudden we gets shut down. We can't go to work. So I run out of funds. So it's like, okay, now what? So in Wisconsin, you could actually work. Like, it was wide open over down there. A little bit more, it was way more open than Michigan, but still kind of a weird time. So like June comes around, I'm like, okay, I have to do something. My back's against the wall. I need to go make some money. So I started driving down to Green Bay every single day. I'd leave my house about 4 a.m. I'd never knocked a door before. I'm like YouTube University, how to knock doors, trying to figure this thing out. And I didn't care what I was going to sell. I was either going to sell fertilization weed control or pest control. So I get down there and I walked up to my first door, turned around, walked away. About threw up because I was so nervous. Walked back up, and I told the story before, but her dog was actually allergic to wasps. And I sold the first door that I ever knocked on pest control.
Dang,
and I was like, okay, I can do this. And so sold my first account, and then it was just on from there. But mind you, like, I didn't have any contracts in place. I'm selling one times. I didn't care. I just needed money. Mm-hmm. So I think like that summer from like June to August or September, I did like 400 some accounts roughly. And I was like, okay, I can do this. I started building up cash in the bank, and then I actually got I recruited a few guys to come with me. And I was the one, I went from selling to being the licensee and spraying the house to being a technician, because I just, again, taught them how to sell. Then I started being a technician. At that time, I just couldn't hire technicians. Like, I couldn't find them. I was new to the area. I didn't know anyone. So that's just kind of how it started. And then, fast forward the next year, the old business opened back up. We get cranking back up there. And so basically, I'm running two businesses side by side. But then I saw the scalability, I saw the profitability of the pest control company. I was like, man, I'm onto something here. And I really liked it. I'm just like the guy who doesn't like landscaping jobs. I like to get in, get out, do a good job. So I like the fertilization weed control side of the world too. And at that time, we were doing quite a bit of FERT up in Michigan. But that opened back up, so went back to work. But at the end of the year, I was like, I'm running two businesses side by side, and I just wasn't passionate about the old one anymore. And the new company borrowed a lot of money from the old company, but still had more money in the bank than the old company had been there for 20 years. I'm like, okay, or 10 years, whatever. So at the end of the year, I decided that I was going to sell my company, my original company. So I sold that. I kept the fertilization weed control side and the pest control side, but sold off the mowing, landscaping, snow plowing, all that stuff. I sold that, and then went all in on Pest Badger. And then now fast forward to 2024, we are at technically 7 locations, open up 3 more in the spring, and we have about 150 employees, so we're cranking now. So it's been fun. That's kind of the journey, like kind of a long story, but that's just kind of how it happened. And yeah, that's where we're at today. I mean, and then I know you said talk about marketing a little bit. We can circle back to that, but that's just kind of the story, like how I got into it. During the come up though, I had a really good mentor, and it's like, I feel super lucky. I guess I kind of like act to God. I remember sitting, like I didn't have any software at the time. And this was, again, probably 8-9 years ago. And I just searched lawn care software. I was beating my head up against the wall because I was doing everything on paper or Excel spreadsheets. Someone would call in, cancel, or move the date. I'm trying to write it down on paper. It was a pain in the butt. So this is like when the cloud was just coming out. And I happened to look for software. This video pops up, and it's my mentor with a video explaining what they do. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So I signed up that night, and back then, it was like he was still answering the phone. Like, he's sold that company for a lot of money now, and so I got the software that night, and I stayed up to like 4 a.m. entering all my customers, like figuring it out, and it was super awesome. That next night, I was laying in bed with my fiance at the time, and I was like, there's this academy thing. And it was like $797 a month. And I had a little bit of money. Maybe I probably had like 10, 12 grand in the bank at that time. And it was $797 is just a lot of money. And I was like, well, I can't really afford it. I'm like, but what do you think? And she's like, no, we shouldn't do it. I'm like, okay, well, it's month to month. So if we don't like it, I'll just cancel it. And so I bought it that night, had to wait like 3 weeks for my first class, and then had my first class, and then like I found like my tribe. Like they're all having the same issues that I was having, and like there's this guy that was telling us how to fix it all. And I think my very first training program was Google My Business, which was pretty new back then. And to this date, that thing's probably made me millions of dollars.
Uh-huh.
So along the way, I had got that, and then now he's one of my best friends. I get to chat with him all the time. Like I said, he's bought and sold his company already. He's building another one. I have that person and like my network of people that I can just lean on. So that was a really big part of the journey too. So I can't leave that out.
Awesome. Okay, wow. I had no idea you had 150 employees. Dude, that is super impressive. That's like a big real company.
Yeah.
So that is so cool, man. That's really impressive. So hats off to you, man.
Yeah, and when I say 150, that's like peak summer, like July, August. We were like right 140 some, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Talk to me about those first few hires that you made. I think we kind of skimmed over that.
Yeah, so I actually, funny enough, I had my operations manager back at the old company. I stole him and brought him down there. And so he could do some of the technician work. I just went online. I got licensed out of Wisconsin. I paid for reciprocity for him to work from Michigan into Wisconsin. I had the license so he could actually work with me. So I was selling, he was spraying. Then I hired two guys named Jeremy. One was my brother and one was just another guy that I knew, young kid. And so he came with me. And that was the first few hires that I made right there. So that's what got us through like the first summer.
Okay, interesting. So kind of just people you already knew, kind of people in your circle.
And
I think that's the right way to go about things. I think people complicate it too much. They're trying to listen to like their favorite guru, and I feel like usually the answers are kind of right in front of you. You don't have to like go searching and go on a witch hunt to find like the perfect employee.
Yeah, and so like that was just a good place to start. I wouldn't recommend hiring family, even if friends. It's hard. Like as you scale, it gets a little bit harder. Because you kind of a lot of times you outgrow those people, which is hard. And you try to help them succeed. But they don't always want to grow themselves. So, yeah, I agree with that. And then my first big hires after that were probably the next year when I got to focus on recruiting, because the same thing happened the next year. I'm like, okay, I really have to figure out this door knocking thing. I hired a consultant. They came in, again, didn't have that much money. I paid like 80 grand, put it on a credit card and hoped it worked out. And then they came in, they trained us the right way. And yeah, I think the next month, everyone was like, you're crazy. You spent $80,000. I'm like, well, yeah, it was a risk for sure. And then that next month we did like 150,000 in revenue from just doing it the right way. So definitely pay for itself. I know it's a big risk, but sometimes you just got to make those big risks. But I believed in myself, honestly. I felt that I was really, really good at what I did. I was just from a small town, like 14,000 people here. It's tiny.
Wow.
And so I always blamed myself. I was like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Why can't I grow this big business? And it was like I said, we were doing like 3 million at the time. So I just thought there was something wrong with me, but it's just like, wasn't really a me problem. And I still had a lot of growing to do. But it wasn't really a me problem. It was just a market problem and service problem. And then he put me in this new market, and I was like, oh, man. Like I said, I always felt that I was really good, but I had to go prove myself again. And, yeah, it just worked out really good.
Dang,
it took a lot of work, but.
So you paid $80,000 for a door-knocking consultant.
Yeah.
What did you learn? What did he implement? Tell me all about it.
Yeah, like going back to kind of like just getting a contract in place, teaching me how to do recruiting, how to actually sell it the right way, reoccurring revenue. I mean, just simple things like that. Like I said, I didn't come from I'm not Mormon. I didn't come from a door knocking company. Yeah. I was just out there trying to figure it out on my own because I had to do it. So I had like a YouTube university, everything. I came across another guy. He listens to the podcast regularly too, so shout out to Lenny Gray. He was just starting his training platform. I sent him an email, and I said this before. I'm like, there's no way this dude's gonna respond to me. That night, I don't know, 8, 9 o'clock at night, Lenny emails me back. So that was the first connection with him, and then like the next week, I reached out to Sam Taggart, saying kind of the same thing. 2 weeks later, I'm on a plane flying to Utah, and now some of those guys I've talked to quite a bit, but. Yeah, just building those relationships, learning from people who have been there and done that, and just sometimes you just got to pay to play,
Definitely. And I'm just so curious because you have like a fairly large team. I think, I don't know, most pest control companies might have like, I don't know, even larger might have like 10 to 50 employees. 150 is huge. So can you tell me about like what roles you have and what exactly goes into running this large of a company?
Yeah, but as you scale, it almost gets a little bit easier. There's just more people to help. So, the first role, I would say we call them operations managers. We have branch managers, and the branch managers, and we're hiring our CFO, and we have a COO, director of operations. And you have your whole marketing side and finance side. So there's been a lot of hires, and we're still always hiring. We're still always recruiting. And then we're building out the inside sales team, and then you're building out the call center. It's just a lot, which is fun because there's always something new every day. So, but like I said, as you get bigger, you have more people that are smarter than you are. Like, just again, go hire those people that are super, very, very, very good at their job. And my mentor told me a long time ago, is like, hire faster. So in my brain, my squirrel brain, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go hire all these sales guys and technicians. But what he really meant without meaning it is like, go pay for the people who can really move the needle. And we start paying people $100,000, $150,000 a year. Those people move the needle.
Uh-huh. What do you guys look for when you're hiring someone?
Depends which role. So like the first thing, like I just want to like build a relationship with them first to try. So usually I take them, like they'll go through the interview process, and then last few interviews, we're just going to do kind of like a sit down, grab dinner, maybe dinner with their husband or wife, and just kind of get a feel if they fit culturally, what their goals are, if they align with us, and just really get to know them as a person too. Because again, like more often than not, I want to hang out with and work with the people that I like, because we're with them more than we're with our own family. So just making sure that they fit, and just make sure they got a good vibe and the culture. And that's probably the biggest thing I look at. And then obviously like where they're at in their career. Like, do they want to keep growing? Are they older? So they're like just kind of like settled where they're at. They're not willing to learn, So I look at that. And so if they're not hungry anymore, I just don't want them, no matter how good they are. I'd rather them come here, be super hungry, and want to help us grow. So I'm looking for that. And then, that's pretty much about it. Like those are, and then I'll give them a Colby score too, just kind of where they see where they're like, it's like kind of like a disc test, and just kind of see where they rate. But that's kind of like the last thing, just to make sure that like we gel well. We don't need a bunch of quick starts running around, because we have a lot of those already. And so like I know my role in the company, which is I'm the CEO, so I'm always building the team, make sure we have money in the bank, and then just my other fourth thing I should say is probably marketing, which is what I love, which I fell in love with. So. Yeah, it's been fun.
Awesome. Now, going over your journey of, the past 20 years or so, is there anything you regret? Like, was there any horrible hires or, pats in the road that you probably shouldn't have taken?
Oh, for sure. There's losses, take L's every day, but big ones, yeah, but I think that's just how we learn. Like, as long as you don't make the mistakes again, you learn from those mistakes. And like, again, like year two of Pest Badger, I spent $80,000 on hotels.
Wow.
I mean, it got us through. Shouldn't have done it, but it's what I did. And so it's like, okay, well, I'll never do that again. So we fixed that. So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of mistakes that I made along the way. But again, that's how we learn. Get thick skin because of it. Employees are kind of the same way. I've lost some really good employees back in the day just because I didn't know any better. I didn't have a path for them to grow. And so I lost a lot of good employees too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I'm a firm believer in no regrets. I think that is how we learn. So, I mean, I could say, I wish I didn't do X, Y, Z, but at the end of the day, that's what made me who I am today. And we just,
same.
We can't expect to be perfect. We can't just, avoid all pain and all errors. I think that's a necessary part of life, so that we have to go through pain, failing, in order to, feel good and successful.
Yeah, and by the time, the hires get to me these days, my team's already vetted them multiple times, so I know that they're going to be a really good candidate, and they're already going to fit well. So they've made my life pretty easy, to be honest.
Cool. Awesome. Something I wanted to make sure to jump into is the social media side of things. So
sure.
You are specifically huge on TikTok and YouTube. So take me to the start of that. When did you start even, doing anything on social media?
So there's a regret because, funny story, my mentor told me, I'm not kidding you, 6 years ago, he taught me how to do videos to sell. And I waited 4 years to actually do it. If you go back and look at some old stuff, there's a few on there from 7, 8, 9 years ago. I just started. And but I always one of the things that was in the back of my mind, I really got to do this. I really got to do this. And finally, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go do this. So I decided that 2022, I think it was 22, I'm going all in on this thing. So yeah, hired a videographer. I actually recruited him at the gym. And kind of the rest is history. You know, like it took a while to figure out. We still don't have it figured out. It's not like we know the algorithm, but it's just like anything else, just showing up every single day and making content. And people are like, oh, I don't want to go make a video because I sound dumb on camera or I look stupid. And I'm like, dude, no one's watching you right now. I'm not going to swear, but no one cares. No one's watching you. Your first 50, 100 videos, no one's watching you. Even if you have 150,000 subs, still no one's really watching you. So just go out there and do it. Who cares? Go.
Yeah.
Especially early on, like definitely no one's watching those videos. And you go back and they have like, I remember our first video didn't get any views. Like, oh, that sucks, you know? And then all of a sudden you start seeing them getting a couple hundred, and then it's like 500. And then it was like 8,000. Like I remember telling Dalton this, I'm like, one of these days we're going to hit 10,000. Then we hit 10,000 views. Like, oh crap, that's cool. And so then we're making an aeration video. And I didn't know how good it was going to do, and then we started doing it, and then it hit 100,000, and I was like, man, that was awesome. Like I never expected it. Going back and watching it today, I know why I did it. Like, oh, so you go back, you learn, right? And you watch your old videos that did good or perform really bad, and you kind of walk through them, and now I can see why they did good or did bad. So like we kind of recreate those ones that do really good in the same kind of frame, you know. So once you start doing that and just really learning again what works, what doesn't work, and we're constantly testing. It's like the ones that you think are going to do awesome failed, and the ones that you think are going to do terrible like go crazy. But yeah, now we have videos at 10, 15 million views, and yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like anything else, just staying consistent. You know, when I first started, I think I was doing like 8 hours a week of just content. Now we're probably like 16, maybe even a little bit more. It's like tomorrow, my whole day is scheduled just for YouTube videos. You'll also doing some long form, some short form tomorrow. So yeah, it's consumed a lot of what I do now, but it's the marketing, it's the brand of our company, and it gets us out there. And as we grow this thing, like I want it to be a nationwide company. So like I'm already marketing for other markets, and yeah, just get our name out there. But it's been fun for sure. And again, pest control is not sexy at all, right? It's just not. So like, how are you pulling this off? Well, bugs are still interesting, so like if you see, people don't get to see bed bugs or cockroaches every day, and they see like this big infestation. And then I read a book, I don't know, 5-6 years ago called They Ask You Answer. And it's like this guy goes out and builds river pool and spa into a massive company all through video, because the consumer would watch so much content from him, and he would just he would write down all the questions that the office got, and he'd go make videos like, how much does it cost to do this? How much does it cost to go do this? What's the delivery? Like literally every question they get in the office, just go recreate a video for. So that when they go to your YouTube, they search how much does pest control cost in Chicago, Illinois, they see this video like, hey, there's a video, and you're going through telling them how much pest control costs. Like, okay, now they consumed your video. Now they're watching the next video, like how to price pest control, right? So they're watching all this content. By the time they actually need something, who do you think they're going to call? They're going to call you because you're the expert. And that's 100%. So that's just how you become, the celebrity of your area.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's so many ways I can take this. I totally love this because I'm just such a big advocate for content. Like this is what I promote to all my clients, and even prospects. I'll literally tell them exactly what to do. Like, hey, you should make videos for each of your locations and each of the services that you provide. And it's very hard for most people to buy in, but I think when it's not coming from more of like a social media marketing side of things with me versus you're an actual pest control owner, and you're saying that you're spending the whole day tomorrow just doing content and marketing. So I think that definitely shines some light to it. And I think very few people are doing it properly. And I think there is kind of this limited mindset where people do think that, no one wants to see anything about pest control. Pest control is boring, it's gross. But I think, and you've totally proven, is that there is a way to monetize and capture attention with anything. So could you talk to me more about like your strategy and how you do make videos that blow up?
For sure. So like you have to remember, the one platform that I'm going after is YouTube. Like The rest of them, I don't really care. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, I'm going after YouTube because who owns YouTube? Google. So we want to rank higher on Google than any other platform. So we're going to take those videos and we're going to put them on all platforms. But YouTube's what I'm actually going after. So like I told you in the podcast on Friday, is that we rank 60% higher, 60% organically higher than any other pest control company in our area, just because of our YouTube. It just shows authority. So if you search how to whatever in Green Bay, like, we pop up with my videos right there. I'm all over the place. So that's the strategy that I'm going for. And again, like going over the content itself, and I hear this all the time. Well, I just run out of content. I'm like, I have thousands of videos. And I still have more room for content. So you can't, like, I tell everyone this. Go to my page, start recreating my videos. And it's like all my friends, if you watch all my friends, they're making the same exact videos that I am because they're proven to work. Just go do them. Then if you find one that works, double, triple, quadruple down on those videos, make more of them. Like I have an edging video, super dumb. Like how to edge a sidewalk, right? Millions and millions of views every time we post it.
So wild.
Yeah, so like it's just recreate those same videos that do well. Again, who cares? Do you think people are going to remember like you posted a video 6 months ago, but no one cares. Just go do it.
Yeah.
So like,
is there any...
Go ahead.
No, finish.
I would say like, and then you get into like the nitty gritty details. Like we're constantly watching watch time and where they drop off and why. So then like we'll go like if there's a certain drop off point, we're gonna make that same video. We're gonna make it shorter. We're gonna cut out those 2 seconds where they drop off. Try it again. So yeah, we're constantly evaluating what we've done to try to make it better and better and better.
Yeah, no, that's essentially what I was going to touch on is, are there any essential components that you need? Like something I've been seeing is some really successful shorts that blow up always have a sound. They always have like a super engaging hook and then maybe like some text at the top. Is there anything that you're including in every video? I
mean, it's just like anything else. You get 3 seconds, maybe even less than that to hook them, right? So the hook is super important. So yeah, absolutely. Like here's an example of the aeration. I'm like, hey, I just went out and bought this brand new thing and never used it before. Come check this out. You're like, oh, cool. Now you're like telling a story. So the hook is by far the most important thing, and then just keeping them engaged, right, from there on out. And yeah, if you find something that's trending, I'm not gonna go do these dances. That's just not who I am. It's not good for my channel. And now it brings me to the next thing. Like if you guys are doing pest control or lawn care or cleaning, don't throw some random video that has nothing to do with your brand on there. Like people just get confused, right? Stick to one niche, pest control, and go all in on that one thing. Don't have, you guys playing basketball or hanging out with your friends and family. Yeah, it's cool, but it's not the right place for your page. So I've seen that a lot too.
Yeah, definitely. And what I've seen on just about every single social media algorithm is that it will naturally find the audience that wants to see your stuff.
Absolutely.
So
YouTube's smart.
If you only post pest control stuff, then you're going to attract people that are either in pest control or that might be interested in pest control. Like, I don't know, maybe they were searching it recently, or I don't know, they just had like a big bed bug problem and now they're searching about it. And now they start seeing your videos. Like these algorithms are so smart, like especially TikTok, but really all of these platforms, just because they pull in so much data. They're seeing exactly how long you watch each video, which ones you like, which ones you share, which ones you send off platform, which are even more powerful. So the algorithms are incredibly powerful. And as long as, again, you stay true to your brand, make videos that you actually want to, and, at least have some conversion oriented videos where like,
Absolutely.
Hey, are you in Appleton? We serve pest control. Like have those bottom of funnel videos in place, right?
Yep, absolutely. And then you can target those, with it, like any other platform, you can target those specifically to your area too. So yeah, I would definitely do that. And again, just staying, I don't need to belabor this thing, but just staying consistent and doing it all the time and just really get in there and see what works and doesn't work.
How consistent should you be?
I mean, we post 5 days a week. So it takes a lot of work to post 5 days a week. So, I mean, like 5, 6 videos. And again, you can recreate some of the shorts that you have old shorts and do some long form. We definitely mastered the shorts, and now it's time to master long form to hold people on the channel more and get more watch time. So that's kind of where we're at now. And I've been getting paid by YouTube for probably, a year and a half. But I think we'll be 250,000 subs by this time next year, maybe even bigger.
That's so
But
crazy.
again, I have to double down. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more traveling. But this is kind of where the page is at. Like, I have to keep it growing now. Like, it's a full-time job, but it's also fun, right? And it also serves a purpose too, and it helps build the brand.
Yeah. No, I honestly find social media incredibly fun. Like it just shows like it's almost just like a stupid dopamine hit, but just to see a video do super well or, tweet, post, whatever it is, do super well.
I have TikTok and I have YouTube on my phone, but I'm not a scroller. That's just not who I am. Like someone will tell me something like, "Hey, go check this video. It's doing really well." And so I'll go look at it. Once in a while, they'll send me like screenshots of the comments that are super funny. But that's just not who I am. Like Joe Rogan says, just post and ghost. Like, just don't go back and read the shit because you get sucked into it and people say dumb stuff that really irritates you. With that being said, though, when you're early on, make sure that you hire someone, a VA or yourself, just to go reply to the comments. Because at first, you want to help build the algorithm, that first hour especially. Make sure you're replying to all those comments. And then it gets to the point where you can't. Like, you just can't keep up. Like, every time you post, there's literally hundreds of thousands of comments, and you can't keep up. So, yeah, just make sure very early on you're engaging with your audience. And then if you get to a point where, and a lot of this can get automated now too, like go high level, you can literally automate everything that you post. So there's that too.
And how do you keep coming up with new, fresh, engaging content ideas?
I mean, we're out in the field every single day. It's like your technicians are doing stuff every single day. So there's unlimited supply of content. Like, you can literally just search like content ideas and what other people are doing, what trends that they're working, and recreate it for yourself. I mean, so yeah, it's not hard. Like, it's just not. Like, you literally every single, you're up on a roof doing a bad inspection. Take video. Like, you're in a specific area, just turn it on live, whatever. So there's all kinds of content. Like, you're never gonna run out of content. And if you do, start recreating it. Like, I know we're 500, 600 videos plus already or something like that, and I still have more content to do.
Yeah, no, same way with me. And I think that's a really good little nugget for content ideas is really the same way. Most of the content that I put out is something that I'm just happen to go through. Like, a lot of my posts is just like, hey, I just had a call with a pest control owner. Or, hey, I just saw this new thing on Google Business Profile. Or, oh, hey, look, like it's all things that are just going on currently. And by the way, that's what people like the most. Like, I've always seen, because I've tested this just like a tiny bit of my posts when I use in the hook, like yesterday or today versus like last week or last month, they always perform better the more recent they are. So people love things that are more recent, like, oh, this just happened today. Like, Google just changed this big thing yesterday. People want to see things that are super recent and relevant. So, if there's like some new crazy pest in the area that people need to watch out for, hey, bed bugs are running rampant this time of year. Like, whatever it is, people want to know what's going on right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. So again, there's unlimited content out there.
Yeah.
The hardest part is just turning your camera on. Just turn it on. You can edit yourself. You can hire a VA to edit. There's so many ways to do it. And what we found is, like, I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on big cameras and that are like amazing quality. The drones, everything. Our best videos are just from iPhone, like with the biggest views. So it doesn't.
Yeah, no, the iPhone already has a great camera. It's very flexible. You can do whatever you want with it. You can do like transitions and stuff.
Yep. Go get yourself a lav mic. Plug in your lav mic. They're $29. You know what I mean? And we have a couple of the Rode wireless ones now that are really nice that we like a lot. But just go buy yourself a lav mic that's super cheap that you can hold, and that's all you need.
Yeah. Awesome. Can you break down like one of your top videos? Like, for the audience, I want to get an idea of like what is a good top performing video and like what does it take?
Yeah, let me pull it up. I'll go through it with you.
Because I feel like some people, like especially in the pest control space, I feel like very few know much about social media, especially again because it is pest control. It's like what do I have to talk about on social media? So I'd like to kind of give like an in-depth look. It's like, hey, look, it's this simple. We're just talking about like this pest control tool or whatever it is.
Okay, so I'm just trying to find one that's recent. Give me 1 second. So this one posted yesterday. It's got 75,000 views. And maybe I'll just put it in here. See if you guys can hear it.
Yeah.
And it says, "Will this mosquito trap work?" That's all it says.
So I bought a whole case of these, so these things better work. So this thing is right here for $15. You get rid of mosquitoes for 90 days. We're going to try this thing out and see how it does. So there's a packet inside there that carries the larvicide and the insecticide. I'm going to fill this up with water, and I guess it activates. It does think like a mosquito, so we're going to set this in a shady spot. There is quite a few mosquitoes in here. So I bought a whole case of these.
That's it.
So this thing is right.
It's nothing hard, right? I'm just literally show them a mosquito trap.
Wow. Yeah, no, it seems so simple, but just...
It's an insecto trap, right? That I'm holding in my hand, that I'm showing the people, like, hey, I just bought this for $12, mosquito trap. I'm going to go see if it works, right? And then it has me go watch it. It just has me filling up the insecto trap with water, showing the larvicide in it, and me setting it on the ground. And then I come back and it says 1 week later, and I open up, you see a couple mosquitoes in there. And then it's just going back to the beginning. It's not hard.
That's all it takes.
Yeah, so it's like anything. Like, go show them how to do pest control. Like, what is it like when the technicians show up? What are they going to do? Like, how long does it last? Like, all these videos that especially the consumers are going to have, right? Go give them the answers for it.
Yeah. Is there an ideal video length? Like, does it also matter in platform to platform?
I'm like, yes and no. So with shorts, I'm talking like 15 to 17 to 20 seconds, somewhere right in there. It's kind of what I'm shooting for.
Wow, that's short.
Yeah, because like the shorter they are, right at the beginning, the more they're gonna have, like, their watch time is gonna be higher. Okay. They're gonna watch more of your video. So the more of the video that they watch, right, to completion, the higher YouTube's gonna show that video is doing. They're going to show that drop off, right? You want them to be over like 52% or 70% watch time. So we're going to just shorten that video up a little bit, and we're going to test. We're going to make it longer. We're going to test and just kind of see what works.
Interesting. Okay, yeah. And tell me about your game plan for doing more longer form content. What's the strategy for that?
Yeah, so like we just did one, and it's not that long, but it was like 4 minutes long. And again, it's new to us, like long form. But just literally went on a termite job. I'm wearing my GoPro. Kind of the same thing. Hey, we just had a customer call. Like, we thought he was joking. Like, we're in the middle of Wisconsin. There's no termites here. But sure enough, we're walking this job and there's termites. So we're walking them how to install bait stations around this place. Like, it's 4 minutes long, and it's doing really, really well. Like, again, it's kind of like starting all back over for, like, short form, right? Trying to figure out the game long form. So, again, tomorrow I said we're going to go do more long form content. We're doing a bat inspection. Not a bat inspection, but we already did the bat inspection. We're going to do batch up, do an exclusion. So going to walk through the process of the whole thing. It'll probably be, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes long. And then it's anything like, what do your trucks look like? What do the inside of your trucks look like? What product you guys using? Like, there's so much content that you guys can do.
Awesome. And let's see, I actually just had a question. I forgot it. Regarding pest control, no, I actually lost it. But I think something else to note is that maybe not every pest control owner, like yourself, is kind of like charismatic and like good on video. So let's say it's a pest control owner that's like, 60 years old. They don't really know anything about social media. Do you think it's still worth to maybe have like their son running the social media account, or like some younger person,
grandkid, whoever? Like, they're all good with social media. But even again, like, I wasn't great on camera. Right, I still feel like I'm not. I'm way better than I was, But it just takes practice, and the more you do it, the better you get. Same thing with podcasting. The first are gonna suck, but then you get better, and you just get better and better and better. But same thing with being on camera. Like, it's super weird, right? Like, you hear your voice, and like you're watching yourself. It's very, very weird. Yeah. And then and so you like at first you're like you don't know what to say, and then now it's you whip up the camera and have it done in 5-10 minutes, and everything done and posted within a couple hours. So. It just takes time, so just stick with it, stay consistent, and you'll get better, I promise. If you do anything for 4 days or for 4 hours a day, it's hard to be bad at it. Just keep doing it.
Do you get that from Alex Ramosi?
Absolutely. Alex
Yeah.
I mean, I consume so much of his content. And I love it. Like even like all the ads that I create, like the $1 Million Leads, like the books, like my videos are like my actual videos that we run ads through are like Alex Ramosi to a T.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. And we were talking about that a little bit on your podcast, that I have just devoured Alex Ramosi content. Probably over 200 hours at least, including the books, maybe like 250, 300.
Yeah, I literally have that book on replay over and over and over. That's all I listen to.
Just for people that don't know, what's the book and what can they take away from it?
Oh, there's lots. Like either $100 million offer, $100 million leads. Either one is great. And they're just like how much the offer is so important, how to set up your lead, how to get leads, right? Like especially if you don't have any leads right now, how you can go get more for free. And then it's like actually how to run the ads and having a hook and then having the body and then just testing the hook, testing the picture, testing the ad copy. Like there's so much we can get into, but definitely good reads for sure.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love Alex Ramosi. So good. And the question that I wanted to ask, because this is something that I've heard some clients kind of be skeptical about, is when they're recording like on the field and maybe at someone's house, have you ever had any pushback about people recording at people's houses, or how do you go about that?
No, but in our agreement, or our pest control agreement, we have in our agreement when they sign it that potentially we could be there running videos for training, so it's already in there.
Okay.
But I'll still go talk to them. I'll let them know what I'm doing, and they never care. Like we don't obviously not going to show their address or like their full house if it's standing it typically. You know what I mean? So. Okay,
awesome. Yeah, I've had some pushback on that specifically, but
it's
really,
just a cop out.
Yeah, no, it's a cop out. So I agree.
That's all it is. Just go do it, and if you have to ask for forgiveness later.
Yeah, exactly. Is there anything you're doing to SEO optimize your shorts or YouTube videos?
I mean, yes. Like especially when you post, like specifically YouTube, yes. Like where I always have the location, and titles are so important, right? Very, very, very important, and I feel like that's sometimes the hardest part. Is just getting the right title and testing the titles and then retesting the titles, and we're always constantly playing with titles. And just geotagging your pictures, make sure that they're wherever location you want them to go to, like the geotag for that specific area. Yeah, there's definitely some stuff like that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it's an interesting dichotomy between copywriting and SEO. And I started out in copywriting, and now I'm like fully SEO. So you still have to kind of account for both. It's like, well, we want this to show up on Google or YouTube or whatever it is, but we also want to make sure that people are actually watching it and they're engaged, because
and
the title is so important.
Like how like you could literally make 1 million how-to videos.
Yeah.
How to do bed bugs, how to do bed bugs with heat, how to do bed bugs with liquid. Like there's so many how-to, but those ones do really well.
Awesome. And what is the future looking like for Pest Badger? And actually, I mean, I'll kind of, well, okay, we already covered that. So yeah, what is the future for Pest Badger? What are the next few years looking like?
Yeah, just keep doing more of what we're doing. I know it sounds super boring, but it's just got to keep doing those boring things, and it's nothing out of the box, unordinary. Just going to keep growing, opening a few more markets in the spring. Right here in Wisconsin, not trying to go anywhere else crazy. Like I'd rather take over one state at a time, and maybe in the future we'll get a big evaluation and we'll sell. But I told myself I'm going to go on a 20-year run. So I have 16 years left of Pest Badger, and the ultimate goal is 100 million was the original goal. But I feel like we're already tracking that down pretty quick. So who knows? Hard to say. Yeah, just hiring more people. Eventually we'll probably get a CEO to come run it, and I'll just kind of take a board seat. I don't know. Like I love what I'm doing right now, so it's hard to see myself doing anything different.
Definitely cool. Also, something that I forgot to mention at the introduction, I don't think we've talked about much, is I believe you're still running a course with Jake Sheldon. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I love agencies, and they have their place. But I've been through a lot of them, and I get really frustrated because some of them are very good, and I work with a great one, and then there's some that are just really, really bad. And what I don't like about them is that they only work on your stuff part-time, a couple hours a week, which I understand, And like they're never really testing your ads. They take one ad that's working in one market, and they're going to bring that same ad and put it in your market, but they're not really going to test more ads. So it came out of frustration. It's like, because I've been through it, all my friends have been through it, and I have friends like yourself all over the country, right, that literally have pest control or fertilization weed control or cleaning companies that all run the same problem. Like, and I was like, felt like I'm really good at what I do. I need to show my friends how to do what I'm doing. So how to market themselves, how to run their own ads, like how to test ads, which ads do you like, literally walk through the whole process of what we do, video content, marketing strategies, everything. We show them exactly what we do to go implement. And so the first class that I did was like last month or 2 months ago. And within the first week, one guy had 19 new leads and 17 new customers. And I was like, okay, I'm on to something now.
Yeah.
And now it's our second class, super successful. And yeah, now we just got to get our name out there and just keep doing it. And again, I don't want it to take up a lot of my time. So like we created a platform on school. Like everyone could just go in there, watch, learn exactly what we do. So yeah, it's really, really cool. I love it. I love helping other people for sure. Now it's the whole point of the podcast. So yes, I get to learn. Like I get to learn from people like yourself that are doing big things, and younger than me, older than me, been there, done that. New upcoming guys like yourself. I knew all the social media stuff and like get to learn from you guys. But all of my friends and followers, they get to learn along with me. So it's super cool.
Yeah. No, we talked about on your podcast a little bit about that as well. I absolutely love the podcast. I think there are so many benefits. It's like unlimited content, so we can make like tons of shorts from this.
Yeah.
You know, I can create relationships with guys like you. And not only, like, I would be totally happy to do this call privately. And it would just be like a private call with me and you.
Absolutely.
But instead, now we can have that public and we can build an audience. Now I'm like associated with you online. That also builds my SEO presence on Google. Like there are so many different aspects. I could, touch on way more than this, but
yeah,
I think
like you said,
the
just
podcast,
become that influence in your area. Like, and again, the podcast, it was literally started because all my friends said, "Hey, someone should go do this," and no one did it. So I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna go do it." And then the next thing you know, we're getting thousands of downloads a month, and I'm like, "Oh, I'd never expected that either."
Yeah.
So
no, I'd argue
fun.
you have the number one podcast in pest control. Like I know Bug Bucks is up there too, but I know you guys are.
They're awesome. But again, like we're friends with all these guys, right? Paul Gianamore and those guys, they have an awesome podcast. But I get to be on their podcast. They're on my podcast. Mm-hmm. They're sharing their stuff. I'm sharing their stuff. Like it's a win-win for everybody. We get to grow each other's audience at the same time. So yeah, I'm not out there to compete who has the best podcast. I don't care, but everyone gets to learn. I'm friends with all those guys. They're on my podcast. I'm on their podcast, and it helps everyone win. So,
yeah. What has gone into growing your podcast? So I think you said you had 2,500 downloads a week. About what goes into growing a podcast? Making it great. Tell me all about it.
Kind of just like just what we talked about. It's like getting other people on your podcast. You having them share your stuff, to their platforms, attracting more people because they usually have friends in the same industry, and getting people on that are really good, engaging, people that people know, especially, like it all helps, and then posting the shorts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, building the audience through there, and then that's just kind of how it all worked out. Again, it was never planned, really, like it just what happened, and what also happened. Too was recruiting wise, like with TikTok, YouTube, the podcast, recruiting got so much easier.
Dang.
Like we have literally kids running down the street saying, "Hey, you're the TikTok guys."
No way. That is so cool. Yeah. That's awesome. And like 100 podcasts later, tell me what are like some of the biggest things you've learned from, these various guests that you've had on?
I feel like I'm just beating this thing up, just staying consistent. Like this is the hardest part. You know what it's like, oh crap, now I got to go find more people. Mm-hmm. So what I did early on is I made a list of my whiteboard right in front of me. And as I went through my contacts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, my contacts in my phone, and made a list of all the people that I could have on the podcast. And apparently, like, during my journey, I came up with a really good list of people because I had, like, over 300 people on my first list. I'm like, I guess I'll be doing this for a while. So I'm literally just going through the list and cross people off. And I run into people like yourself, like, this would be awesome. So, like, the next month, like, every single person that I have is just going to be on marketing because that's what I love to talk about. So I'm going to bring everyone on that's for marketing and just do a deep dive into marketing over the next month, 2 months. So, yeah.
Awesome. And how do you reach out to guests, just for people that might be curious about starting their own podcast?
Yeah, I literally just cold DM people. A lot of them, like up to this point, the first 100, I've known all of them. The next 100 people all know it. And again, it's like networking, right? You go to events, you run into people like, oh, these people are awesome. Get their connection, get their Instagram, reach out to them. Like again, I was just with the Bug Bucks guys at Pest World. Alan Draper was there, so he was on the podcast, and they started their lizard marketing. So I have Matt coming on. He was super cool. We had dinner with those guys. So just networking and get to know these people, and they all want to grow their thing, and so getting their name out there for them helps me get my name out there. So it's just networking, like especially online, people see you, and it gets to the point where honestly, people reach out to me on a weekly basis asking if they can be on the podcast. A lot of them kind of want to sell stuff, and I'm not here to make money off the podcast. I have a sponsor now, but Chris Marish, he's awesome with Gorilla Desk. I love those guys. But again, it's not like I went up there looking for it. They just wanted to be a part of it. They saw what we were doing, thought it was super cool. And Chris is just a good dude, and he's got a great platform, and I love what he's doing. I believe in Chris 100%. So I was like, I've had banks reach out to me. I've had like all kinds of people reach out to be on a podcast, and I'm just like, no, you're not coming to sell my friend stuff. No.
Yeah. So, what goes into a good guest? It's more intuitive, but like, who should you be having on?
Oh, like, I don't, for me, it's just like someone who I want to talk to, who I want to learn from. And I don't care if they're bigger or smaller, you can always learn from someone. Like, they're usually good at their 1-2 things. So like, I'll talk to anyone. Now, of course, if they have a big following, of course you want those people on there. Or if they have especially if they have a big social media page and they're willing to share it on there, of course you want those people. But to me, I don't even look for that, to be honest with you. Like, I want to learn from people. So the people that I have on the guests are just people that I want to learn from. Like, I had you on Friday, Danny. And like, we did a deep dive on Google. Like, it was so much fun. And there's a couple, I'm sitting over here taking notes. Like, here's a whole list of notes from Danny's podcast that I could do better at. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, focus on this, focus on this, focus on this, right? But again, I'm going through and just taking notes. And at some point, I think I'll probably make a book. Like, I'll probably create a book. And it's just going to be off from all the podcasts, the first 100, 200 podcasts, and take all the nuggets from the podcast and put it in a book.
Yeah. No, that is so cool. And I like we talked about also before, that I love binging YouTube and, watching Alex Hormozi or some of these other top guys in the marketing space. But you truly don't learn better than when you're actually talking with the person. Now, ideally, it'd be in person, but still, this is super powerful of us being on a call. Like, I am 100% engaged listening to every single word you're saying, where, I might be watching a YouTube video, then I pick up my phone, then, okay, I have to get water. Like, no, I am locked in here. So, yeah, I really like the podcast component. And something I'd like to touch on for the last, 5 or 10 minutes that we have here is, I know you're at Pest World, and I'm curious, what are some of like the biggest developments in pest control, whether like new technology you're using, new software you're using? Like, what are some new things that you're kind of using or excited for in the pest control space?
Yeah, AI is coming on us fast, right? So being the early adopters, and maybe it doesn't work now, maybe it'll work in the future, but we have the AI answering service. A lot of like the AI text back and forth, like for your CSRs. Again, there's so much stuff like on the doors for tracking. There's competition that tracks. There's audio, video for when you sign the agreement, so you can hear the customer, see the customer, and they're signing the agreements to make sure that the door-to-door reps aren't lying, that the customers aren't lying. There's so much AI stuff that's coming out that's going to be incredible. As far as taking over our job, it's probably going to happen, but you're talking 15, if I had to guess, 15, 20 years out for actual technician job for robots. I met a guy down in Florida at the Patrick Bet-David conference. He's one of like the engineers for Ford, I believe, and he was telling me about all the robots they have now that could do our job. I'm like, yeah, I see it in the lawn care space, right? Even lawn care is not quite there yet. Even though there's tons of robots out there, tons of mowers out there, it's still not quite there. So to have a drone come in and spray a house, or a robot or whatever, it's probably going to be 15, 20 years out. But again, it's like keep an eye on those things, staying close, especially with people who are in the tech space, who are close to it. Like my mentor is on a board for Robin. So he's really close to that side of the world. It's like to chat with him. The younger generation that's coming up, like they're going to be more intuitive to go buy this stuff or see it early. So keeping a good connection with some younger guys if you're older. So I see the industry changing for sure. I don't know how much yet, but yeah, definitely keep an eye on it.
Awesome. And what specifically are you using right now? Is there any like new software, new tools that you're using?
Not really, outside of the ones that I kind of mentioned without name dropping. So, but no, I mean they're all, yeah, no, not really.
Cool.
Like again, pest control is super boring, super not sexy, but it's a great industry to be in for sure.
Yeah. Also on our podcast, I know you were talking a lot about using ChatGPT and you use it every day and more than Google. Can you touch on like what you use ChatGPT for?
I mean, I like everything that you punch into Google, I just punch it in ChatGPT to see what pops up. And we talked about like how to rank on SEO for on ChatGPT because I see people going to that. So like the higher you rank on Google, the more videos you have, and then what are like someone has a blog like you said that what are the best pest control companies in Chicago? It's going to pull the data from that because I see a lot of younger kids use it, and I use it too, just to pull up quotes or that I need for myself, or maybe I'll have a question on something. I'll put it in there. Like what are the best restaurant in Chicago? Like I'll do it for that. Like just see what pulls up. It's way faster, and then it gives you like the top 10 answers. So like, yeah, I use it every single day for random things too, not just work.
Yeah. No, it's incredibly powerful. I agreed with you. I use ChatGPT more than Google now. And I see it as like basically an extension of my brain and potentially a mentor. So like any questions that I'm unsure about.
Questions like on anything, like it could be like a business decision. It'd be like, okay, well here I'll put all the information in there. It's like, give me the best answer. And it'll give me like top 2 answers. Like, I never really thought about it that way. Great idea.
Yeah. Definitely. I think it does like occasionally have like some political bias or like that kind of thing.
It absolutely does.
Everything relating to business and marketing, I think it's very clear cut. It's pulling from some very good resources.
Yeah.
So in terms of like political stuff, I usually don't go there. But for everything business, I'm usually going there. And sometimes I just like to challenge the beliefs that I hold the most. Like, hey, does this actually work for SEO? Hey, how do you... Like even just asking a question as simple as how do you get like a Google business profile ranking and see what it says? Like, does that counter your belief? I think that's very important to challenge these beliefs that we hold so dearly. And that's like truly how we grow.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Awesome, man. Let's see. Is there anything else? I feel like we've covered a lot. Another thing I wanted to cover, which, okay, we kind of transitioned out of this, but just to dive a little bit more into... By the way, what is the group with Jake Sheldon? Is that Pest Customers Fast or is that something else?
No, that is just Pest Control Millionaires. It's just a course that we run through that platform.
Okay, cool. Pest Control Millionaires. Is that training on organic content or paid content or both?
All of the above, yeah. Like literally everything that I do for marketing, I show you exactly what to do.
Okay, cool.
Like from content to video to what cameras to use, what shots to take, how long the video should be, how to run ads on YouTube, how to run ads on Facebook. Like everything's broken down.
Dang. Okay. So that's super powerful. I think just about any pest control owner should be in that.
Absolutely.
And we've talked a ton about organic content, but for the last, again, like 5 minutes or so here, I'd like to talk about social media advertising. So could you just touch a little bit on that and, Facebook, TikTok, what should we be using, what works?
So I think you have to use all of them, but by far the best platform to be on is Facebook. They've got it so figured out and so dialed in. Their ads platform or ads manager is so good. Like that's where I'd spend the majority of my budget there. And of course, Google LSAs, Google My Business Profile. Like you're definitely dumping a lot of money into that. But again, you can only get so many reviews from there, no matter what your budget is. So and then you pay per click too. We don't spend as much on pay per click as we do like our LSAs and our Facebook, but and then. Like I said, the TikToks, they're not as good yet. They're getting better. Then they're going to keep getting better. TikTok, kind of the same thing. Or Snapchat, kind of the same thing. It's not quite as good. Obviously, Instagram's owned by Meta, so theirs is decent too. You kind of integrate those two. So, yeah, definitely got to be on all of them. But the majority of where we're going to spend our budget is going to be Facebook and Google, for sure.
And are you using the same creative everywhere? Because I feel like you could, these amazing videos that you're making on like TikTok or YouTube, you can just use those as ads, or use making something else for ads.
I typically make something else for ads because I want it to be a different hook, and I'm specific neighborhood, specific audience, like specific I can't talk now, specific demographic. Like if I'm looking for someone in a certain neighborhood, like I'm gonna go make a video in front of the sign of their neighborhood. If I'm gonna do a certain city, I'm gonna go like somewhere where everyone will know in the city. Like, hey, Oshkosh residents, like, you know what I mean? Or, hey, XYZ neighborhood, I'm doing an offer for you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So I'm gonna get nitty gritty when it comes into the ad side. It's totally different videos, but I'm pulling in the viewers and the subscribers from the long form, right? Or from the short form. I'm gonna keep them there with the long form, and then I'm gonna run ads specifically to their neighborhood.
Okay, cool. And what is like the call to action for the ads? Is it,
Usually
to go to the website, to fill out a form?
Yeah, usually I have a form embedded. So I don't want them to leave Facebook. If they're on Facebook, they'll actually ding you if you drive them to the website. I'd rather keep them there, open up a form, ramp the video, and fill out the information.
Interesting.
And then it's all hooked to go high level, so people like autoresponders, people calling immediately, things like that.
I was just about to mention that. So how big of a role does Go High Level play in all the things that you do?
Oh, it's so important. I love Go High Level. It took me a little bit to figure it out, but now we're getting that dialed in. And it runs everything. It runs all of our ads, tracks everything. Lets our sales guys know when leads come in to reach out. It's automated everything, and so it's super important for us for sure.
And should every pest control owner be using Go High Level, or what level?
I think it depends which software that you're using. Some softwares are better than the others, and if the software that you're not using isn't great at automation, then I would definitely use Go High Level. Now, if your software that you use has an open API that's really good with integration or really good with automation, then I would keep what you have. But Go High Level is really cheap. It's inexpensive. It's unlimited automation. Lots of connectivity through platforms, so I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I think Go High Level is absolutely fantastic. I use it personally, and again, just with the mass amount of integrations, where usually with most platforms you have to use like Zapier, whatever you call it,
it's so
to
easy.
connect the
Click
two.
the button.
Yeah, no, it's right there. So I think Go High Level is fantastic. But
me too.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to end. Thank you so much for coming on, Jonas. And where can people learn more about you and potentially like join that Pest Control Millionaires course?
Yeah, you can just literally search us up online, pestcontrolmillionaire.com, or you can go into my YouTube channels, my TikTok, and Instagram. Find me anywhere. Type Jonas Olson or Pest Badger. It'll all come up. Send me a DM. I'll reach back out to you. You can email us at info@pestcontrolmillionaire.com as well. So pretty easy to find actually.
Awesome. So you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, anything else for your personal socials?
LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. I'll link all of those below. I'll link your podcast below. The group, anything else? Oh, and the company, of course, Pest Badger.
Yeah. No, I'm good. Like I said, if you want to put our YouTube in there and TikTok, you're more welcome. But that's super easy to find. All you have to do is search, and we come up pretty easy. So
yeah, no, it's a pretty unique name. But
yeah,
okay, awesome, man. I'll link those in the description. And yeah, it was so good to have you on. I truly learned a lot from you, and I think you're like, I don't know if you want to be this, but I feel like you're kind of the figurehead for everything like social media marketing in the pest control space. Like, there's just no one else doing it like you. I didn't
know that it was going to happen, but I went out to Boston for Pest World. And it's the first time that it happened. Now it happens quite a bit. Walked into Pest World and hey, you're the TikTok guy. And I was like, what? You're the TikTok guy. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, yeah, you're Turf Badger. I'm like, yeah, you're the TikTok guy. I'm like, oh, that's the first time that happened. Now it happens quite a bit. Like, so now we have kids running down us, coming after the streets. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I didn't intend to be, but here I am.
Are there any downsides to it? Like, are you ever getting recognized too much?
No, it's not like ultra famous like a pro athlete. It's not like that. But of course, like when you go to a Pest World, we get into the pest control industry, lawn care industry. I'm very well known. Like I'm popular, quote unquote, a celebrity in our industry. Outside of the industry, I'm just like everyone else,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. No, I kind of like that aspect of being like what they call like a micro influencer, where normal people don't know you, but like. What I want to do, at least right now, is everyone in the pest control space knows me, and everyone in like the local SEO space knows me. Like, those are two very small spaces.
If I were to show you my TikTok or my YouTube, like of how many DMs I get on a daily basis to to sell stuff online, like it's incredible. I bet you it's 10 a day to sell people's products, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah, no, it's insane the power of building a brand, whether it's for your company or for yourself.
It's the same thing with like getting on stage at Pest World to talk in front of everyone. Like it was just because of the influence I have with the podcast, the influence I have on TikTok and Instagram and all these podcasts. Like that's how I got on stage at Pest World talking in front of thousands of people. Yeah, like I got a call like, hey, we really would like to have you up on stage with us. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. How cool is that? And I'll sit up there with Paul Gianamore and Jonathan Potoshnik up on stage in front of thousands of people. Super awesome.
Yeah, no, so cool, man. I think you're absolutely crushing it. I think you're like a real figurehead in the space, and I think you're just doing a fantastic job. So just keep doing it. I
appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate
for
it.
Sure, man. Okay, man. Yeah, we'll stay in touch, and I appreciate you coming on.
I'll actually be in Chicago on Wednesday.
Really? Okay, so yeah, let's meet up. Let's do something.
Sounds good.
Awesome, man. All right, thanks.
Later.
Thanks, Jonas.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye.